Men are nowadays acting like really women, especially when it's about relationship, when it's about...
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're talking about a woman who's trying to tackle some of the big issues in today's world. And hey, we can appreciate good intentions. But here's the thing, just because someone wants to help doesn't mean they're always right. Especially when it comes to men's issues, that's where we've got to step in and make sure things are seen from the right perspective. So, we're going to break down what she says, highlight where we agree, and respectfully challenge where she misses the mark. Enough talk. Let's dive right in.
Sure, actually very 100% sure that there are a lot of people, many of you might don't agree with this point of view, which I will say, but most of you would definitely understand what I'm trying to say. And if anybody of you feeling offensive about this, I'm really sorry. That was not the intention actually, but it is just what I'm feeling around, the energy that I'm feeling around. But I really want to share something that is so, like, for me personally, it's really disturbing because I cannot tolerate this. Maybe it's just because I have a very different mindset. And as I said, many of you won't, but most of you will definitely sure agree with what I'm gonna say. To be honest, and I know you guys are also very well aware, you can see this also very much. It's quite obvious that this generation is sort of losing its dignity and there's no self-respect left for themselves. And to all the girls, as a woman, I see a lot of women out there where they're trying to sell themselves, their bodies, as if that's the only word that they have, and for them it means like it's nothing, and can be with any men they want, can be with any boy they want, and sort of like, I don't know, just like it feels like women nowadays think they're like cheap items on sale. That's it. And doesn't surprise me when I hear men out there talking, really stupid bullshit. I'm really sorry. Things like, very rude things about women. And I have seen or hear like a men talking about women like, it's so easy to get a woman just like that, because women are like this. It's good to use them for one time, for two times, and that's it. But I'm not specifying, I'm not believing that all men are like that, but most of them are like this. And the reason why, because a lot of women, they act, and as I said, they sort of sell themselves as if they are not more worth of anything. And doesn't surprises me when men, they start also thinking, okay, it's easy to get any woman.
Dating has changed, and some men feel like standards have shifted. When people don't value themselves, it affects how others see them. But is this really the full picture? Let's break it down.
That you guys are not objects anymore. And the way you represent yourself, obviously it has an impact. And as I said in the beginning, a lot of men are completely fixed here in this opinion that women are really easy nowadays, to get and to have fun with them, and that's it afterwards. But women and girls need to understand right now that you are not an object anymore. Sleeping with every man, it is not about self-empowerment. When sometimes I feel women does it because they think it empowers them. This is not self-empowerment. This is my opinion. Sleeping with any man is not self-empowerment. I want to be very clear out there, okay? And I don't want to get very deep into femininity because feminism is something that is broadly interpreted. Everyone has its own interpretation to it. So I don't want to talk about that. And this has nothing to do with feminism. What about...
She makes a strong point about how certain behaviors aren't truly empowering, but dismissing feminism entirely oversimplifies the issue. Feminism has many branches, and not all of them push for reckless choices. The real conversation should be about balance, freedom with accountability.
What about men? Where is masculinity? It's completely gone. I don't see anything like a real man, a strong man out there. And by strong man, I don't mean like physically strong. I see a lot of like men, masculine physically, but when it comes to their attitude and character. To be masculine, it doesn't mean that you have to have control over a woman. But it also doesn't mean that you need to lose your voice, be more overprotective, where you just make a woman completely sick. That's also not masculinity. What I mean by masculinity, a man who is strong enough, who's, strong enough to show his emotions, who's respectful, who doesn't see any woman or girl as an object and feels, woman is a cheap item in the end of the day and can be used anytime I want, whenever I feel wanting it. And the roles many years ago where men were really men, they wanted to be good fathers, they wanted to be good, husband, they wanted to be a great brother, great father. I don't see it anymore. It's just like, as I said, the roles has completely flipped off. Men are nowadays more feminine as women itself. You would definitely, as I said, you would agree with me and you will also feel like that. That it's true. Men are nowadays acting like really women. Especially when it's about relationship, when it's about the duties at home. They feel like, okay, if a woman is there, why am I supposed to do the grocery shop? So, I can send my wife. When it's about, there's so many things. Right now I can't think about it, but there's so many things that you can.
She's touching on a real issue, but without acknowledging the cultural shifts that led to it. The problem isn't just that men are becoming too feminine. It's that traditional gender roles have been blurred without clear new expectations. Men are told to be strong, but also vulnerable, to lead, but not be controlling. The real discussion should be about how to navigate these evolving dynamics in a way that benefits both men and women.
What is the role of a man?
It's really unclear. I mean, that's the thing. And I think that it really needs to be discussed. And that's where I think there's hope, is that when people can actually say, hey, I'd really like to pay on this date, and if she says, well, I don't feel comfortable with that, I think a question is, okay, that's fine. We can split it, but let's talk about why. And to be able to talk about, what does this mean that I pay? What does that mean to you? I think a lot of people would say, oh, well, it means like, that you expect something back from me. You expect, that we're going to have sex, or you expect, whatever these old ideas are.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to be having these conversations. That's my point, is that it's not so important that we know what it means. It's more important that we know what it means to the person that we are interested in. What does it mean to them? It's going to mean something different to everybody. So if we can't talk to this person that we're interested in about what it means, then both people are going to be mired in confusion.
It's not logic!
Exactly. Men aren't failing. They're adapting to conflicting expectations. One moment, they're told, to embrace sensitivity and emotional openness. The next, they're criticized for not being strong or assertive enough. The issue isn't masculinity itself, but the lack of clear, consistent messaging about what masculinity should look like in today's world. Ignoring the broader cultural shifts, including feminism's role, means missing a key part of the discussion.
As I said, you can agree with me, you cannot agree with me, it's all up to you. But that's my point of view, and it's very sad. I mean, I know we cannot change about it, but we can change about it when the moment you start. It's all up to, up to you, how you want to live your life in the future. If you want to be treated like BS, obviously we'll go in this way. But if you want to have like self-respect and that high respect from people around you, that's a completely different thing. The most important thing is that you need to think about future. Sometimes we just think about the present and that moment. But sometimes it's very important to think about the future. What will happen in 2 years? What will happen in 5 years? What will be the results of these things that I'm doing right now? What will happen in 10 years about?
It sounds like you're making the case that societal influences, especially those shaped by feminism, have redefined gender roles to the point where both men and women struggle with relationships and identity. While individual change is important, you're arguing that real solutions require broader societal and legal reforms, especially in areas like divorce and family courts. It's an interesting take, and it raises the question, what would an ideal balance look like? How can men and women navigate these shifting expectations in a way that's fair for both sides?